Question 1. Strategic planning requires a comprehensive approach to building a thriving wellness culture. Which of the following strategies best aligns with regulatory frameworks and ethical best practices for fostering employee well-being and engagement within a corporate setting? Option A. Implement a broad range of voluntary wellness initiatives, informed by employee feedback and integrated with visible leadership support, ensuring all programs are accessible and respect employee privacy. Option B. Focus exclusively on providing informational resources, such as pamphlets and online articles, without actively seeking employee input or leadership endorsement for broader cultural integration. Option C. Mandate participation in specific health-related activities for all employees, with consequences for noncompliance, to quickly demonstrate organizational commitment to wellness. Option D. Introduce a wellness program that requires employees to disclose detailed personal health information to qualify for incentives, with minimal emphasis on data security or voluntary participation. The correct answer is A. Implement a broad range of voluntary wellness initiatives, informed by employee feedback and integrated with visible leadership support, ensuring all programs are accessible and respect employee privacy. Explanation. Scenario analysis. Building a robust wellness culture within a corporate environment presents a multifaceted challenge. It requires navigating diverse employee needs and perspectives, securing sustained commitment from leadership, and ensuring initiatives are not only well-intentioned, but also compliant with relevant regulations. The professional challenge lies in balancing the aspirational goals of wellness with the practical realities of organizational dynamics and legal obligations, particularly concerning employee privacy and non-discrimination. Careful judgment is essential to ensure that wellness programs are inclusive, effective, and ethically sound. Correct approach analysis. The correct approach emphasizes a holistic and integrated strategy that begins with a thorough needs assessment and aligns with organizational goals. This involves actively seeking and demonstrating leadership buy-in, which is crucial for resource allocation and cultural endorsement. Employee engagement is fostered through clear communication, voluntary participation, and the creation of accessible, diverse wellness opportunities. Promoting wellness throughout the organization means embedding it into the fabric of daily operations, not treating it as an add-on. This approach is ethically sound as it respects employee autonomy and privacy by focusing on voluntary participation and avoiding coercive measures. From a regulatory perspective, particularly within the U.S. framework governing employee benefits and health programs, e.g., ERISA, ADA, GINA. This approach minimizes risks by ensuring programs are designed to be inclusive and do not discriminate based on protected characteristics, and that sensitive health information is handled appropriately. Incorrect approaches analysis. An approach that prioritizes top-down mandates without understanding employee needs or securing genuine leadership advocacy is ethically problematic. It risks creating resentment and disengagement, undermining the very culture it aims to build. Such an approach could also inadvertently lead to discriminatory practices if the mandated wellness activities are not accessible or suitable for all employees, potentially violating the Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA) or the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act (GINA). Focusing solely on superficial initiatives, like a one-off health fair, without a strategic plan for sustained cultural change or leadership integration, is ineffective and ethically questionable, represents a missed opportunity to genuinely improve employee well-being, and can be seen as a token gesture, failing to meet the organization's ethical responsibility to support its workforce. This approach also fails to address potential regulatory requirements for ongoing wellness program support and accessibility. Implementing wellness programs that collect extensive personal health information without clear consent, robust data security protocols, and a defined purpose risks significant ethical and regulatory breaches. This could violate privacy laws such as HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, if health information is mishandled, and could also lead to discrimination claims if such information is used inappropriately, contravening the ADA and GINA. Professional reasoning. Professionals tasked with building a wellness culture should adopt a phased, strategic approach. This begins with understanding the regulatory landscape relevant to their jurisdiction, e.g., U.S. federal laws like ERISA, ADA, GINA, and state-specific regulations. Next, conduct a comprehensive needs assessment involving diverse employee groups to identify genuine needs and barriers. Simultaneously, Engage leadership to secure their visible support and commitment, framing wellness as a strategic business imperative. Develop a multifaceted engagement strategy that offers a variety of voluntary programs and resources, ensuring accessibility and inclusivity. Integrate wellness messaging and opportunities into existing communication channels and organizational practices. Regularly evaluate program effectiveness and adapt based on feedback and evolving needs, always maintaining strict adherence to privacy and non-discrimination principles. Question 2. The evaluation methodology shows a plan to collect detailed biometric data and individual health assessment results from all program participants, linking this data directly to their employment records to measure the program's impact on productivity and absenteeism. Which of the following approaches best aligns with regulatory compliance and ethical best practices for a certified corporate wellness specialist? Option A. Rely exclusively on voluntary self-reported employee satisfaction surveys to gauge program success, without collecting any objective health or outcome data. Option B. Develop an evaluation plan that utilizes de-identified and aggregated data to assess program outcomes, focusing on trends in health behaviors and overall employee well-being, while ensuring all data collection methods are clearly communicated to participants. Option C. Use the collected biometric and health assessment data to identify employees who are not meeting certain health benchmarks and implement mandatory follow-up interventions based on this data. Option D. Collect granular, identifiable employee health data and link it to employment records to create a direct correlation between wellness program participation and individual employee performance metrics. The correct answer is B. Develop an evaluation plan that utilizes de-identified and aggregated data to assess program outcomes, focusing on trends in health behaviors and overall employee well-being, while ensuring all data collection methods are clearly communicated to participants. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because it requires a corporate wellness specialist to balance the need for robust program evaluation with the ethical and regulatory obligations to protect employee privacy and ensure data security. The pressure to demonstrate ROI can lead to a temptation to collect more data than necessary, or to use data in ways that could inadvertently compromise confidentiality. Careful judgment is required to design an evaluation plan that is both effective and compliant. The correct approach involves developing an evaluation plan that clearly defines metrics aligned with program objectives and uses de-identified or aggregated data for analysis, thereby respecting employee privacy and adhering to data protection regulations. This approach is ethically sound and legally compliant because it prioritizes confidentiality, a cornerstone of trust in wellness programs. By focusing on aggregated trends and outcomes rather than individual data points, the program can demonstrate effectiveness without exposing employees to potential risks. This aligns with the principles of responsible data stewardship and the ethical guidelines for professionals in the field, which emphasize minimizing harm and respecting individual autonomy. An incorrect approach that focuses on collecting granular, identifiable employee health data for the sole purpose of demonstrating ROI is ethically flawed and potentially illegal. Failure to de-identify data or obtain explicit, informed consent for such detailed collection violates privacy principles and could contravene data protection laws. Another incorrect approach that relies solely on self-reported satisfaction surveys without objective outcome measures fails to provide a comprehensive understanding of program effectiveness and may not meet the standards for rigorous evaluation expected by stakeholders, potentially leading to misallocation of resources. A third incorrect approach that uses evaluation data for performance management of individual employees rather than program improvement is a severe ethical breach and a violation of trust, as it misuses data collected under the premise of program enhancement. Professionals should employ a decision-making framework that begins with clearly defining program goals and then identifying the most appropriate, least intrusive methods for measuring progress towards those goals. This involves a thorough understanding of relevant privacy laws and ethical guidelines. The process should include a risk assessment for data collection and usage, ensuring that all data handling practices are transparent to participants and that data is anonymized or aggregated whenever possible. Regular review of the evaluation plan against evolving regulatory landscapes and ethical best practices is also crucial. Question 3. The review process indicates a need to evaluate the understanding of exercise physiology principles in designing effective corporate wellness programs. When considering the adaptation of the cardiovascular system to exercise, which of the following approaches best reflects a comprehensive understanding of how to promote long-term health and fitness benefits for employees? Option A, focusing primarily on the immediate increase in heart rate and blood pressure during a single exercise session to gauge employee effort. Option B, emphasizing the utilization of anaerobic energy systems for high-intensity bursts of activity without considering the importance of aerobic recovery and endurance. Option C, prioritizing resistance training to build muscle mass and neglecting the integration of aerobic conditioning for cardiovascular health. Option D, designing aerobic exercise components that progressively increase duration and intensity to improve stroke volume and reduce resting heart rate, thereby enhancing cardiorespiratory fitness. Correct answer is D, designing aerobic exercise components that progressively increase duration and intensity to improve stroke volume and reduce resting heart rate, thereby enhancing cardiorespiratory fitness. Explanation. The review process indicates a need to assess the understanding of exercise physiology principles as they apply to corporate wellness program design, specifically concerning adaptations to exercise. This scenario is professionally challenging because a certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, must translate complex physiological concepts into practical, safe, and effective wellness interventions for a diverse employee population. Misinterpreting or misapplying these principles can lead to ineffective programs, employee disengagement, or even injury, which has direct implications for the employer's liability and the employee's well-being. Careful judgment is required to ensure that recommendations are evidence-based and aligned with the scope of practice for a CCWS. The correct approach involves recognizing that the cardiovascular system's adaptation to aerobic exercise, such as increased stroke volume and decreased resting heart rate, is a fundamental principle that underpins the design of effective aerobic conditioning programs. This understanding allows for the creation of programs that progressively challenge the cardiovascular system, leading to improved cardiorespiratory fitness, reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, and enhanced employee productivity. This aligns with the CCWS ethical responsibility to promote health and safety through evidence-based practices, adhering to the general principles of exercise science and the implied duty of care to program participants. An incorrect approach that focuses solely on the immediate physiological response to exercise, such as the acute increase in heart rate during a single session, fails to consider the long-term adaptive processes crucial for sustained health benefits. This overlooks the principle of adaptation and can lead to programs that are either insufficient to elicit meaningful changes or overly aggressive, increasing the risk of injury. Ethically, this demonstrates a lack of comprehensive understanding required for effective program design. Another incorrect approach that prioritizes musculoskeletal strength gains from resistance training without considering the cardiovascular benefits of interval training or circuit training demonstrates a narrow focus. While musculoskeletal adaptation is important, a holistic corporate wellness program should leverage the synergistic benefits of different exercise modalities. Failing to integrate cardiovascular improvements into a strength-focused program misses a significant opportunity to enhance overall employee health and reduce sedentary behavior, which is a key objective of corporate wellness. This approach is ethically deficient as it fails to provide a comprehensive, evidence-based wellness solution. A further incorrect approach that emphasizes energy system utilization during anaerobic activities without acknowledging the role of aerobic conditioning in recovery and overall fitness is also flawed. While understanding energy systems is vital for specific training protocols, a corporate wellness program must address the broader spectrum of health, including cardiorespiratory endurance, which is primarily developed through aerobic exercise. Neglecting this fundamental aspect of fitness for a general employee population is a failure to apply core exercise physiology principles effectively and ethically. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a systematic evaluation of the employee population's needs and goals, followed by the application of foundational exercise physiology principles. This includes understanding how different exercise types elicit specific adaptations in the cardiovascular, respiratory, and musculoskeletal systems, and how these adaptations contribute to overall health and performance. Professionals should consult current scientific literature and adhere to established guidelines for exercise prescription, ensuring that programs are safe, effective, and tailored to the target audience. When in doubt, seeking guidance from exercise physiologists or other qualified healthcare professionals is a prudent step. Question 4. The control framework reveals that a corporate wellness program aims to proactively identify employees at higher risk for developing chronic health conditions and implement targeted interventions. The program has access to aggregated anonymized health insurance claims data, employee self-reported lifestyle surveys, e.g., diet, exercise, sleep, and anonymized biometric screening results, e.g., blood pressure, cholesterol. Program manager is considering several approaches to risk stratification. Which approach best aligns with ethical considerations and regulatory guidelines for corporate wellness programs in the U.S.? Option A. Directly analyze individual employee health insurance claims data to identify specific diagnoses and associated high-cost conditions, then mandate participation in specific health improvement programs based on these diagnoses. Option B. Focus solely on aggregated biometric screening data to identify general trends in the workforce and implement a one-size-fits-all wellness challenge for all employees without individual risk stratification. Option C. Employ a proprietary algorithm that uses all available data sources, including sensitive self-reported survey responses, predict future health risks for each employee, and automatically enroll them in predetermined intervention pathways without explicit individual consent for this specific predictive analysis. Option D. Utilize a combination of anonymized biometric screening results and self-reported lifestyle survey data to identify employees with multiple risk factors, then offer voluntary, personalized wellness coaching and resources to those identified, ensuring all data usage is clearly communicated and consent is obtained for any direct intervention. The correct answer is D. Utilize a combination of anonymized biometric screening results and self-reported lifestyle survey data to identify employees with multiple risk factors, then offer voluntary, personalized wellness coaching and resources to those identified, ensuring all data usage is clearly communicated and consent is obtained for any direct intervention. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge due to the inherent tension between the desire to proactively identify and support employees at risk of developing health issues and the imperative to protect individual privacy and avoid discriminatory practices. Effective risk stratification requires a delicate balance, demanding careful consideration of data usage, consent, and the potential for unintended consequences. The correct approach involves a multifaceted strategy that prioritizes informed consent and data security, while employing a range of indicators for risk identification. This approach aligns with ethical principles of autonomy and beneficence, ensuring that employees are aware of and agree to the use of their data for wellness program enhancement. Furthermore, it recognizes that risk is not solely determined by clinical data, but also by lifestyle factors and environmental influences, leading to more holistic and personalized interventions. Regulatory frameworks, such as those governing data privacy and non-discrimination in employment, underscore the importance of transparency and fairness in all risk stratification processes. An incorrect approach that relies solely on readily available, potentially sensitive health data without explicit consent is ethically problematic and likely violates data privacy regulations. This method risks alienating employees, eroding trust, and potentially leading to discriminatory outcomes if individuals are unfairly categorized based on limited or misinterpreted information. Another incorrect approach that focuses on broad, generic interventions for all employees, regardless of identified risk factors, fails to leverage the benefits of personalized wellness. Seemingly inclusive, it is inefficient and less effective in addressing the specific needs of high-risk individuals, thereby not fulfilling the core objective of targeted intervention. A third incorrect approach that uses predictive algorithms without rigorous validation or transparency can lead to inaccurate risk assessments and biased outcomes. The lack of clear methodology and the potential for algorithmic bias can result in unfair targeting or overlooking individuals who genuinely require support. Professionals should adopt a decision-making framework that begins with a thorough understanding of the relevant regulatory landscape, including data privacy laws and employment regulations. This should be followed by a commitment to ethical principles, particularly informed consent, confidentiality, and non-discrimination. The process should involve a phased approach to data collection and analysis, starting with broad, anonymized data and progressively incorporating more specific information only with explicit consent. Regular review and validation of risk stratification methodologies are crucial to ensure accuracy and fairness. Finally, open communication with employees about the purpose and process of risk stratification is paramount to building trust and fostering engagement. Question 5. Assessment of the most compliant and ethically sound method for a corporate wellness program to gather data on employee health risks for program development, considering the need to protect individual employee privacy and adhere to regulatory frameworks. Option A. Engage a third-party vendor to administer online health risk assessments, HRA, and provide the company with an aggregated, de-identified report of the findings. Option B. Conduct on-site biometric screenings and have employees submit their own interpretation of the results to HR for program planning. Option C. Design and administer a paper-based HRA internally, with HR collecting and manually analyzing all employee responses. Option D. Request individual HRA reports from the third-party vendor for review by the HR department to identify specific employee needs. Correct answer is A. Engage a third-party vendor to administer online health risk assessments, HRA, and provide the company with an aggregated, de-identified report of the findings. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because it requires balancing the employer's legitimate interest in understanding workforce health risks to inform wellness program design with the paramount importance of employee privacy and data security. The Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, must navigate complex ethical considerations and legal compliance requirements, particularly concerning the collection, use, and disclosure of sensitive health information. Careful judgment is required to ensure that the health risk assessment, HRA process is conducted in a manner that is both effective for program planning and fully compliant with relevant regulations. The correct approach involves utilizing an aggregated, de-identified data report from a third-party vendor that administers the HRAs. This approach is correct because it adheres to the principle of data minimization and privacy protection. By using a vendor, the employer is not directly collecting individual health information, and the report provided is aggregated and de-identified, meaning no individual employee can be identified. This aligns with ethical best practices and legal frameworks that protect employee health information, such as HIPAA in the U.S., assuming U.S. jurisdiction for this exam. The vendor is responsible for ensuring the secure collection and storage of individual data, and the employer receives only the high-level insights needed for program development, thereby minimizing the risk of privacy breaches and unauthorized access to sensitive personal health information. An incorrect approach would be to request individual HRA reports from the third-party vendor for review by the HR department. This is ethically and legally problematic because it directly exposes individual employee health data to the employer, increasing the risk of privacy violations and potential discrimination. It bypasses the de-identification and aggregation safeguards, violating principles of data privacy and potentially contravening regulations that mandate the protection of individually identifiable health information. Another incorrect approach would be to design and administer a paper-based HRA directly within the company, collecting all responses and then manually analyzing them. While seemingly more direct, this method presents significant risks. Paper-based records are susceptible to physical loss, unauthorized access, and improper disposal. The internal handling of such sensitive data by non-specialized personnel increases the likelihood of breaches and non-compliance with data security standards. Furthermore, the design of such an HRA might inadvertently solicit information that is not strictly necessary for wellness program planning, leading to overcollection of data. A third incorrect approach would be to conduct biometric screenings on site and then have employees submit their own interpretation of the results to HR for program planning. This is flawed because it places the burden of interpretation on employees who may not have the expertise to understand their results accurately, leading to potential anxiety or misinformed actions. More importantly, it still involves the employer potentially receiving or having access to sensitive biometric data, which is a form of health information that requires robust protection and careful handling to avoid privacy violations and potential misuse. The professional reasoning process for similar situations should involve a risk-based assessment. First, identify the objective, to gather insights for wellness program design. Second, evaluate the available methods for data collection, considering their impact on employee privacy and data security. Third, prioritize methods that utilize third-party vendors for data collection and aggregation, ensuring de-identification of individual data. Fourth, consult relevant legal and ethical guidelines to confirm compliance. Finally, select the approach that best balances the need for information with the imperative to protect employee confidentiality and comply with all applicable regulations. Question 6. Upon reviewing the aggregated data from the corporate wellness program, including participation rates, biometric screening results, and self-reported health assessments, what is the most appropriate method for presenting these findings to senior management to inform future program design and resource allocation, while strictly adhering to data privacy regulations and ethical considerations? Option A. Disclosing aggregated participation data to an external benchmarking firm without verifying their data security protocols or obtaining employee consent for data sharing. Option B. Sharing detailed individual participation records and specific health outcomes of employees, highlighting exemplary cases to demonstrate program success. Option C. Providing a high-level summary of overall program engagement without any departmental or demographic breakdowns, making the data too general to be actionable for program design. Option D. Presenting anonymized aggregate statistics and trends, such as overall participation percentages by department, general improvements in key health indicators across the workforce, and identified areas of high or low engagement, without any individual employee data. The correct answer is D. Presenting anonymized aggregate statistics and trends, such as overall participation percentages by department, general improvements in key health indicators across the workforce, and identified areas of high or low engagement, without any individual employee data. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge due to the inherent tension between the need to demonstrate program effectiveness through data analysis and the paramount importance of safeguarding employee privacy and confidentiality. The Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, must navigate this by ensuring that data aggregation and reporting adhere strictly to relevant privacy regulations and ethical guidelines, without compromising the integrity or utility of the data for program improvement. The professional must exercise careful judgment to balance these competing interests. The correct approach involves aggregating wellness program participation and outcome data in a manner that anonymizes individual employee information. This means presenting trends and patterns based on group-level statistics, such as participation rates by department or general improvements in self-reported stress levels across the workforce, rather than identifying specific individuals or small, identifiable groups. Reporting should focus on aggregate insights that inform strategic decisions about program design and resource allocation, such as identifying departments with lower engagement or areas where specific wellness interventions appear to be most impactful. Benchmarking against industry standards can be done using publicly available or aggregated industry data, ensuring no proprietary or individual employee data is exposed. This approach is ethically sound and legally compliant because it upholds the principle of data privacy, which is a cornerstone of employee trust and is often mandated by regulations such as HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, in the U.S., or similar data protection laws in other jurisdictions, which govern the handling of health-related information. The CCWS must ensure that no data is reported in a way that could reasonably lead to the identification of any individual employee. An incorrect approach would be to present detailed individual participation records or outcomes to management, even if framed as examples of program impact. This directly violates data privacy principles and likely contravenes regulations that protect employee health information. Such an approach erodes trust and can lead to legal repercussions and reputational damage. Another incorrect approach would be to over-aggregate data to the point where it becomes meaningless for program design. For instance, reporting only overall workforce participation without any breakdown by department or demographic, where anonymized, would make it impossible to identify specific areas for improvement or tailor interventions. While privacy is crucial, the data must still be actionable. This approach fails to meet the objective of using data to inform program design effectively. A third incorrect approach would be to use external benchmarking data that includes personally identifiable information, or to share internal aggregated data with external benchmarking partners without explicit consent and robust data protection agreements. This exposes the organization and its employees to privacy risks and potential breaches of confidentiality. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a clear understanding of the organization's data privacy policies, relevant legal frameworks, e.g., HIPAA, GDPR or equivalent, and ethical codes of conduct. The CCWS should always prioritize anonymization and aggregation techniques that protect individual privacy. When in doubt, it is always best to err on the side of caution and seek legal or compliance counsel. The goal is to leverage data for positive organizational outcomes while maintaining the highest standards of confidentiality and trust. Question 7. Benchmark analysis indicates that a key challenge in implementing corporate wellness programs is ensuring robust data collection for program evaluation while strictly adhering to U.S. federal privacy regulations. Considering the Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, exams focus on best practices within the U.S. regulatory framework. Which of the following implementation strategies best balances program effectiveness with employee privacy and data security? Option A. Outsource all data collection and analysis to a third-party vendor without conducting a thorough review of their data security protocols or establishing specific contractual clauses regarding data breach notification and liability. Option B. Deploy a wellness platform that collects granular, identifiable health data for individual performance tracking, with a general statement in the employee handbook about data confidentiality. Option C. Implement a phased rollout of the wellness program, beginning with comprehensive employee education on data privacy policies, clear communication about data collection and usage, and the establishment of secure, anonymized data aggregation methods before full data collection commences. Option D. Proceed with collecting detailed health metrics from all participants immediately upon program launch, relying on the assumption that employees understand their data will be used for program improvement, and address privacy concerns only if they arise. The correct answer is C. Implement a phased rollout of the wellness program, beginning with comprehensive employee education on data privacy policies, clear communication about data collection and usage, and the establishment of secure, anonymized data aggregation methods before full data collection commences. Explanation. This scenario presents a common challenge in corporate wellness program implementation, balancing the need for robust data collection with employee privacy and data security, particularly within the context of U.S. federal regulations like HIPAA. The professional challenge lies in designing an implementation plan that is both effective in measuring program impact and compliant with legal and ethical obligations. Careful judgment is required to ensure that the chosen strategies do not inadvertently compromise sensitive employee health information or create a perception of surveillance, which could undermine program participation and trust. The correct approach involves a phased implementation that prioritizes employee education on data privacy and security measures from the outset. This includes clearly communicating what data will be collected, how it will be anonymized and aggregated, who will have access, and the security protocols in place to protect it. This aligns with the ethical imperative to obtain informed consent and maintain confidentiality, as well as the legal requirements under HIPAA for protecting protected health information. 5. By proactively addressing privacy concerns and building trust, this strategy fosters a supportive environment for program engagement and data utilization for program improvement. An incorrect approach would be to proceed with data collection without explicit employee consent or a clear communication strategy regarding data usage and protection. This failure to inform employees about how their health-related data will be handled directly violates ethical principles of autonomy and transparency. Furthermore, it risks non-compliance with HIPAA privacy rule, which mandates safeguards for PHI and requires covered entities to provide individuals with notice of their privacy rights. Another incorrect approach would be to implement a system that collects granular, identifiable health data without robust anonymization or aggregation techniques, and without a clear purpose beyond general program evaluation. This not only raises significant privacy concerns, but also increases the risk of data breaches and potential misuse of sensitive information, leading to legal liabilities and reputational damage. It fails to adhere to the principle of data minimization and the ethical obligation to protect individuals from harm. A third incorrect approach would be to delegate the entire data management and privacy oversight to a third-party vendor without conducting thorough due diligence on their security practices and compliance with HIPAA. While outsourcing can be efficient, the responsibility for ensuring data protection ultimately rests with the employer. Failing to vet the vendor adequately or establish clear contractual obligations regarding data security and breach notification can lead to significant regulatory violations and exposure. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a comprehensive risk assessment that considers legal, ethical, and operational factors. This includes consulting with legal counsel specializing in healthcare privacy and data security, as well as privacy officers. A phased approach to implementation, with continuous feedback loops from employees and stakeholders, is crucial. Prioritizing transparency, informed consent, and robust data security measures from the initial planning stages will mitigate risks and build a foundation of trust essential for a successful and compliant corporate wellness program. Question 8. Performance analysis shows that a company's current workplace nutrition program has limited employee engagement and impact on overall health metrics. The Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, is tasked with revamping the program, considering the CCWS ethical obligations and the goal of fostering a healthier workforce. Which of the following strategies represents the most effective and compliant approach to implementing workplace nutrition programs? Option A. Implementing a multifaceted program that includes offering a diverse range of healthy food options in cafeterias and vending machines, providing accessible nutrition education resources, and conducting practical cooking demonstrations. Option B. Replacing all existing vending machine snacks with a single brand of low-fat cookies, as this is a cost-effective way to introduce healthier options. Option C. Stocking the company cafeteria exclusively with prepackaged salads that are labeled as diet-friendly, without offering any hot meals or other food choices. Option D. Mandating attendance at weekly nutrition seminars for all employees, regardless of their interest or prior knowledge. The correct answer is A. Implementing a multifaceted program that includes offering a diverse range of healthy food options in cafeterias and vending machines, providing accessible nutrition education resources, and conducting practical cooking demonstrations. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because implementing effective workplace nutrition programs requires balancing employee well-being with organizational resources and potential regulatory considerations. The Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, must navigate the complexities of promoting healthy choices while ensuring compliance with relevant guidelines, which can vary based on the specific jurisdiction. Careful judgment is required to select strategies that are both impactful and ethically sound, avoiding any practices that could be misconstrued as coercive or discriminatory. The correct approach involves a comprehensive strategy that integrates multiple facets of nutrition support. This includes offering a variety of healthy food options in cafeterias and vending machines, which directly addresses environmental influences on food choices. Providing accessible and evidence-based nutrition education empowers employees with knowledge to make informed decisions. Conducting practical cooking demonstrations offers tangible skills and encourages healthier eating habits at home. This multi-pronged strategy aligns with the ethical imperative to promote employee health and well-being, and is generally supported by best practices in corporate wellness, which often draw from public health guidelines that advocate for creating supportive environments for healthy living. While specific CCWS regulations might not dictate exact menu items, the overarching principle is to foster a culture of health. An approach that focuses solely on offering one type of healthy snack in vending machines, without considering broader dietary needs or preferences, is insufficient. It fails to create a truly supportive environment and may overlook diverse employee requirements. This approach is ethically questionable as it presents a superficial solution without addressing the systemic factors influencing employee nutrition. Another incorrect approach would be to mandate participation in nutrition education sessions. While education is valuable, mandatory attendance can be perceived as intrusive and may lead to resentment, undermining the program's effectiveness and potentially creating a negative perception of the wellness initiative. This infringes on employee autonomy and can be counterproductive to fostering genuine engagement. Finally, an approach that prioritizes only low-cost, processed, healthy, labeled foods in the cafeteria without ensuring nutritional quality or variety is also problematic. This could lead to employees consuming foods that are marketed as healthy but lack essential nutrients or contain high levels of sugar, salt, or unhealthy fats. This approach fails to uphold the ethical responsibility to provide genuinely beneficial options and could inadvertently promote unhealthy eating patterns under the guise of wellness. Professional decision-making in such situations should involve a thorough needs assessment of the employee population, consultation with nutrition professionals, and a review of available resources. The CCWS should prioritize evidence-based interventions that are inclusive, accessible, and promote employee autonomy. A focus on creating a supportive environment that makes healthy choices the easy choices, coupled with empowering education, is the most effective and ethically sound strategy. Question 9. Implementation of a new corporate wellness program requires a strategic communication plan to maximize employee engagement and foster a culture of well-being. Considering the diverse needs and potential privacy concerns of the workforce, which of the following communication strategies best aligns with ethical best practices and regulatory expectations for promoting such initiatives? Option A. A multi-channel approach that clearly communicates the voluntary nature of the program, highlights its benefits, and provides accessible information on how to participate and the measures taken to ensure confidentiality. Option B. A directive communication strategy, announcing mandatory participation in all wellness activities through company-wide emails, with no further details provided. Option C. A social media-centric strategy, using company social media accounts to promote program activities, without explicit statements regarding data privacy or the voluntary nature of participation. Option D. A limited communication strategy, relying solely on eye-catching posters placed in high-traffic areas of the workplace to generate initial interest. Correct answer is A. A multi-channel approach that clearly communicates the voluntary nature of the program, highlights its benefits, and provides accessible information on how to participate and the measures taken to ensure confidentiality. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because effectively communicating and marketing a corporate wellness program requires balancing the goal of employee engagement with the need for privacy and avoiding coercion. A certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, must navigate the ethical landscape of promoting health initiatives without creating undue pressure or revealing sensitive personal information. The challenge lies in crafting messages that are inclusive, informative, and motivating, while respecting individual autonomy and confidentiality. The correct approach involves a multi-channel communication strategy that emphasizes the voluntary nature of the program and highlights the benefits of participation. This approach aligns with ethical principles of respect for persons and beneficence, ensuring that employees are empowered to make informed choices about their well-being. Regulatory frameworks, such as those governing employee privacy and non-discrimination, implicitly support this approach by requiring transparency and prohibiting coercive practices. A well-designed communication plan will utilize diverse channels to reach all segments of the workforce, providing clear information about program offerings, participation guidelines, and confidentiality measures. An incorrect approach that relies solely on mandatory participation announcements via company-wide emails would be ethically flawed. This method fails to respect employee autonomy and could be perceived as coercive, potentially leading to resentment and disengagement. It also risks violating privacy expectations if the communication implies that participation is tracked or monitored in a way that could be used for performance evaluation. Another incorrect approach that focuses exclusively on high-visibility posters in common areas without providing detailed information or alternative communication channels would be insufficient. While posters can raise awareness, they often lack the depth needed for employees to make informed decisions about joining a program. This approach could inadvertently exclude employees who do not frequently access these areas or who require more detailed information to feel comfortable participating. It also fails to offer the flexibility needed to accommodate diverse employee needs and preferences. A third incorrect approach that uses social media platforms without clear disclaimers about data privacy and the voluntary nature of the program is also problematic. While social media can be a powerful engagement tool, it carries inherent risks regarding data security and the potential for misinterpretation of program intent. Without explicit assurances of confidentiality and the voluntary aspect, employees may be hesitant to engage or may feel their privacy is compromised. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a thorough assessment of the target audience, the program's objectives, and the relevant ethical and regulatory considerations. A CCWS should prioritize transparency, voluntariness, and inclusivity in all communication efforts. This involves developing a comprehensive communication plan that outlines specific messages, channels, and timelines, with a clear emphasis on employee privacy and the benefits of participation. Regular evaluation of communication effectiveness and employee feedback is crucial for continuous improvement and ensuring the program's success and ethical integrity. Question 10. Which approach would be most appropriate for a certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, when an employee expresses a strong desire for rapid weight loss and asks for specific dietary recommendations to achieve this goal, while the CCWS understands that rapid weight loss can have health implications? Option A. Recommend a popular, unverified detox or cleansing diet that is often promoted for quick weight loss, assuring the employee it is a safe and effective method. Option B. Advise the employee that weight loss is a personal journey and that the CCWS cannot provide specific dietary advice, offering no further guidance or resources. Option C. Educate the employee on the principles of sustainable energy balance, balanced macronutrient intake, the importance of micronutrients and hydration for overall health, and strongly recommend they consult with a physician or registered dietitian for personalized advice tailored to their specific health status and weight loss goals. Option D. Immediately provide a detailed, low-calorie meal plan designed for rapid weight loss, including specific food choices and portion sizes, to help the employee achieve their desired outcome quickly. The correct answer is C. Educate the employee on the principles of sustainable energy balance, balanced macronutrient intake, the importance of micronutrients and hydration for overall health, and strongly recommend they consult with a physician or registered dietitian for personalized advice tailored to their specific health status and weight loss goals. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because the Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, is privy to sensitive employee health information and is expected to provide guidance that is both scientifically sound and ethically responsible, adhering strictly to the CCWS regulatory framework. The core of the challenge lies in balancing the employee's expressed desire for rapid weight loss with the CCWS obligation to promote sustainable, healthy practices and avoid offering unqualified medical advice. The CCWS must operate within their scope of practice, which, under the CCWS framework, does not include diagnosing conditions or prescribing specific dietary regimens for medical purposes. The correct approach involves guiding the employee towards evidence-based, sustainable nutrition principles for weight management, while emphasizing the importance of consulting with a qualified healthcare professional for personalized medical advice. This aligns with the CCWS ethical duty to promote well-being through education on general nutrition principles such as macronutrient balance, micronutrient importance, hydration, and energy balance, without overstepping into medical treatment. Specifically, the CCWS framework mandates that specialists educate on general wellness and nutrition, but defer to licensed medical practitioners for individual health assessments and treatment plans. This approach upholds professional integrity and protects both the employee and the specialist from potential harm or regulatory violation. An incorrect approach would be to immediately recommend a specific, restrictive diet plan or a supplement regimen to achieve rapid weight loss. This fails to acknowledge the employee's potential underlying health conditions that might necessitate medical supervision and violates the CCWS scope of practice by venturing into medical advice. Such an action could lead to adverse health outcomes for the employee and expose the CCWS to liability and disciplinary action for practicing outside their certified scope. Another incorrect approach would be to dismiss the employee's concerns or goals without offering any constructive guidance. While avoiding unqualified advice is crucial, a complete lack of support or direction can be detrimental to the employee's motivation and overall wellness journey. The CCWS has a professional responsibility to provide education within their expertise, even when referring to other professionals. A third incorrect approach would be to provide general, unsubstantiated information about miracle foods or fad diets that promise quick results. This is ethically unsound as it promotes misinformation and can be harmful, contradicting the CCWS commitment to evidence-based practices and the promotion of genuine well-being. The professional decision-making process in such situations requires a clear understanding of the CCWS scope of practice, a commitment to ethical conduct, and the ability to differentiate between general wellness education and specific medical advice. Professionals should always prioritize the employee's safety and well-being, advocate for evidence-based practices, and maintain appropriate professional boundaries by referring to qualified healthcare providers when necessary. Question 11. The analysis reveals that a certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, is preparing to conduct a series of fitness assessments for a new corporate client. The assessments are designed to measure cardiovascular fitness, muscular strength and endurance, flexibility, and body composition. To ensure the safety and efficacy of these assessments within the U.S. regulatory framework, what is the most critical initial step the CCWS must undertake before commencing any physical testing? Option A. Implement a comprehensive pre-assessment risk stratification protocol, including a review of health history questionnaires and identification of contraindications, coupled with a clear, informed consent process. Option B. Prioritize cardiovascular fitness tests to quickly identify employees who may benefit most from immediate lifestyle interventions. Option C. Immediately begin administering all standard fitness assessments to gather baseline data for all employees, assuming general good health. Option D. Focus solely on body composition measurements, as these are generally considered low risk and can be performed without extensive pre-screening. Correct answer is A. Implement a comprehensive pre-assessment risk stratification protocol, including a review of health history questionnaires and identification of contraindications, coupled with a clear, informed consent process. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because it requires a certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, to balance the goal of gathering comprehensive fitness data with the paramount importance of participant safety and informed consent, all within the specific regulatory framework governing corporate wellness in the United States. The CCWS must navigate potential risks associated with fitness assessments, ensuring that the procedures are appropriate for the individuals being assessed and that any identified risks are communicated and managed effectively. The correct approach involves a thorough pre-assessment risk identification and mitigation strategy. This includes reviewing participant health history questionnaires, understanding contraindications for specific tests, and having emergency protocols in place. The CCWS must also ensure that all participants have provided informed consent, understanding the nature of the assessments, potential risks, and benefits. This aligns with ethical principles of beneficence and non-maleficence, as well as regulatory expectations for responsible health programming. The CCWS role is to facilitate wellness, not to expose individuals to undue harm. An incorrect approach would be to proceed with assessments without adequately screening for pre-existing conditions that could be exacerbated by physical exertion. This failure to identify and mitigate risks directly violates the ethical duty to protect participants from harm and could lead to adverse health events. Another incorrect approach is to conduct assessments without obtaining explicit informed consent. This bypasses a fundamental ethical and legal requirement, leaving both the participant and the organization vulnerable. Furthermore, using assessment protocols that are not evidence-based or are inappropriate for the general employee population without proper justification and safeguards is also professionally unacceptable, as it may yield inaccurate data or pose unnecessary risks. Professionals should employ a decision-making framework that prioritizes safety and ethical conduct. This involves a multi-step process. 1. Thoroughly review all available participant health information. 2. Select assessment tools and protocols that are appropriate for the target population and aligned with best practices. 3. Implement a robust informed consent process that clearly communicates risks, benefits, and alternatives. 4. Establish clear emergency procedures and ensure staff are trained to respond. 5. Continuously monitor participants during assessments for any signs of distress. 6. Document all assessments, communications, and any interventions. This systematic approach ensures that the CCWS acts responsibly and ethically, fulfilling their professional obligations. Question 12. Compliance review shows that the corporate wellness program design process for the upcoming year has been initiated. The Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, is tasked with ensuring the program effectively addresses employee needs and interests. Which of the following approaches to conducting the needs assessment is most aligned with best practices for data integrity and employee engagement? Option A. Rely solely on the previous year's program feedback and anecdotal observations from department heads to identify areas for improvement, without any new employee data collection. Option B. Conduct a series of mandatory in-person focus groups during working hours, with a strict agenda focused on the wellness manager's predetermined priority areas, without prior broad data collection. Option C. Design and implement a single, lengthy, paper-based questionnaire distributed to all employees, requiring completion within a tight deadline and offering no alternative methods for participation. Option D. Administer a comprehensive, multi-section anonymous online survey covering a wide range of wellness topics, followed by voluntary, confidential, one-on-one interviews with a representative sample of employees to gather in-depth qualitative feedback on key themes identified in the survey. The correct answer is D. Administer a comprehensive, multi-section anonymous online survey covering a wide range of wellness topics, followed by voluntary, confidential, one-on-one interviews with a representative sample of employees to gather in-depth qualitative feedback on key themes identified in the survey. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because the Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, must balance the desire for comprehensive data with the practical limitations of employee time and engagement. Overburdening employees with overly complex or lengthy assessments can lead to survey fatigue, reduced participation rates, and ultimately inaccurate or incomplete data. This compromises the integrity of the needs assessment, which is the foundation for designing an effective and relevant corporate wellness program. Careful judgment is required to select methods that are both informative and respectful of employee time and privacy. The correct approach involves a multifaceted strategy that prioritizes employee engagement and data relevance. This includes using a combination of anonymous surveys to gather broad quantitative data on general wellness interests and perceived needs, supplemented by voluntary focus groups and individual interviews for deeper qualitative insights. This blended approach allows for the identification of common themes while also capturing nuanced individual perspectives. Crucially, the CCWS must ensure that all data collection methods are clearly communicated to employees, emphasizing the voluntary nature of participation, the anonymity of survey responses, and the confidentiality of interview data. This aligns with ethical principles of informed consent and data privacy, which are implicit in professional practice guidelines for wellness specialists. The analysis of this data should then directly inform program design, ensuring that interventions are targeted and responsive to identified needs. An incorrect approach would be to solely rely on a single, lengthy, and highly detailed survey without offering alternative methods for participation or feedback. This fails to acknowledge the potential for survey fatigue and may exclude employees who are less inclined to complete extensive questionnaires. Ethically, this could be seen as an imposition on employee time and may not adequately capture the needs of all employee segments. Another incorrect approach would be to conduct focus groups and interviews without first establishing a baseline understanding of general employee needs through a broader survey. This risks focusing discussions on niche issues and may not reflect the most pressing wellness concerns across the entire workforce. It also bypasses a more efficient method for gathering initial quantitative data. A third incorrect approach would be to design the program based on assumptions or anecdotal evidence rather than a systematic needs assessment. This directly violates the core principle of data-driven program design and is ethically questionable, as it fails to demonstrate due diligence in understanding employee needs. It also risks developing programs that are irrelevant or ineffective, wasting organizational resources and failing to support employee well-being. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a phased approach. 1. Define the scope and objectives of the needs assessment. 2. Identify potential data collection methods, considering their strengths, weaknesses, and impact on employee engagement. 3. Prioritize methods that offer a balance of breadth and depth, while respecting employee time and privacy. 4. Clearly communicate the purpose, process, and confidentiality of the assessment to employees. 5. Collect and analyze data systematically, ensuring that findings directly inform program design. 6. Regularly evaluate the effectiveness of the needs assessment process itself and adapt as necessary. Question 13. Compliance review shows that a proposed corporate wellness incentive program heavily relies on substantial cash bonuses for achieving specific biometric targets, with limited alternative participation options, and a broad request for detailed personal health data to verify eligibility. What is the most compliant and ethically sound approach to designing this incentive program? Option A. Proceed with the cash bonus structure as planned, as financial incentives are proven motivators, and the detailed health data is necessary to ensure program integrity and prevent misuse. Option B. Focus exclusively on non-financial incentives, such as company-wide recognition and access to exclusive wellness workshops, to avoid any potential privacy concerns associated with financial rewards. Option C. Modify the program to include a mandatory health screening for all employees, with a smaller cash incentive for completion, and use the aggregated data for population health trend analysis without individual identification. Option D. Implement a tiered incentive structure offering a mix of financial rewards, e.g., gift cards, premium reductions, non-financial benefits, e.g., extra paid time off, wellness-related merchandise, and opportunities for personal development, with clear opt-in procedures and strict adherence to HIPAA for all health data collected. The correct answer is D. Implement a tiered incentive structure offering a mix of financial rewards, e.g., gift cards, premium reductions, non-financial benefits, e.g., extra paid time off, wellness-related merchandise, and opportunities for personal development, with clear opt-in procedures and strict adherence to HIPAA for all health data collected. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because designing incentive programs for corporate wellness requires balancing the goal of encouraging healthy behaviors with strict adherence to legal and ethical guidelines, particularly concerning fairness, privacy, and avoiding discriminatory practices. The Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, must navigate the complexities of human motivation, ensuring that incentives are both effective and compliant with relevant regulations, which in the U.S. context often involves considerations under laws like the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, and the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, as well as general ethical principles of fairness and non-coercion. The correct approach involves a multifaceted incentive design that offers a variety of options to cater to different employee preferences and circumstances, while ensuring that participation is voluntary and that data privacy is paramount. This approach aligns with regulatory frameworks that emphasize individual choice and prohibit discrimination. By offering both financial and non-financial rewards, and by structuring programs to acknowledge intrinsic motivation, the specialist promotes engagement without creating undue pressure or excluding individuals with specific needs or limitations. This also mitigates the risk of unintended consequences, such as employees feeling coerced or that their personal health information is being exploited. An incorrect approach that focuses solely on high-value financial incentives without considering non-financial alternatives or individual circumstances fails to acknowledge the diverse motivations of employees and can lead to perceptions of unfairness or coercion. Such a design might inadvertently disadvantage employees who cannot participate in certain activities due to health conditions or personal beliefs, potentially creating a disparate impact that could raise legal concerns under anti-discrimination laws. Furthermore, an over-reliance on extrinsic financial rewards can sometimes undermine intrinsic motivation, leading to a decline in engagement once the financial incentive is removed. Another incorrect approach that involves mandatory participation or the collection of excessive personal health information without clear consent and robust privacy protections directly violates HIPAA and ethical standards. This not only creates legal liabilities, but also erodes trust between the employer and employees, which is detrimental to the overall success of any wellness initiative. A professional decision-making process for similar situations should begin with a thorough understanding of the target employee population, their potential barriers to participation, and their diverse motivational drivers. This should be followed by a review of all applicable U.S. federal and state regulations pertaining to health programs, employee benefits, privacy, and anti-discrimination. The design process should then prioritize voluntary participation, offer a range of incentive types, financial, non-financial, opportunities for personal growth, and ensure that data collection is limited to what is necessary, with transparent consent and strong security measures. Regular evaluation of the program's impact, including feedback from employees, is crucial to identify and address any unintended consequences or compliance issues. Question 14. The audit findings indicate that the Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, has been providing employees with guidance on selecting specific mutual funds within their company-sponsored 401(k) plans, and has also been advising on the optimal allocation of assets for individual IRAs based on employee age. Which of the following approaches best aligns with regulatory compliance and the CCWS scope of practice? Option A. Offering employees a curated list of recommended mutual funds and ETFs for their 401(k) and IRA investments, along with suggested asset allocation models for different age groups. Option B. Providing employees with educational materials on the different types of retirement accounts available, e.g. 401(k) IRA, the general benefits of each, and the importance of developing a diversified savings strategy, while clearly stating that specific investment advice must be sought from a licensed financial professional. Option C. Facilitating workshops where employees can learn about retirement planning concepts, and then directing them to a single, pre-selected financial advisory firm that the company has partnered with for personalized advice. Option D. Creating personalized retirement savings projections for each employee, recommending specific contribution levels and investment vehicles within their 401(k) and IRA based on their stated financial goals and risk tolerance. The correct answer is B. Providing employees with educational materials on the different types of retirement accounts available, e.g. 401(k) IRA, the general benefits of each, and the importance of developing a diversified savings strategy, while clearly stating that specific investment advice must be sought from a licensed financial professional. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because it requires the Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, to navigate the complex landscape of retirement planning advice within the strict confines of their professional scope and regulatory obligations, specifically concerning the U.S. regulatory framework for financial advice. The CCWS must ensure that any guidance provided is educational and informational, not prescriptive or constituting financial advice, which falls under the purview of licensed financial professionals. The core challenge lies in distinguishing between general wellness education and specific investment recommendations. The correct approach involves providing employees with comprehensive educational resources about various retirement savings vehicles, such as 401(k) plans and IRAs, and general principles of developing a savings strategy. This approach is ethically sound and regulatorily compliant because it empowers employees with knowledge without offering personalized financial advice. The CCWS acts as an educator, facilitating informed decision-making by the employee, who then consults with qualified financial advisors for specific investment choices. This aligns with the CCWS role in promoting overall well-being, including financial wellness, through education. An incorrect approach would be to recommend specific investment products or asset allocations within a 401(k) plan or IRA. This constitutes providing financial advice, which is a regulated activity requiring specific licenses and registrations, e.g. Series 7, Series 65, under U.S. federal securities laws and state regulations. The CCWS, by offering such recommendations, will be operating outside their scope of practice and potentially violating regulations enforced by bodies like the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and state securities regulators. This could lead to significant legal and professional repercussions, including fines, loss of certification, and civil liability. Another incorrect approach would be to create personalized retirement savings plans for individual employees, dictating contribution amounts or investment strategies based on their personal circumstances. This also crosses the line into providing financial advice. While the intent might be to help, the execution would be a regulatory misstep. The CCWS is not equipped or authorized to assess an individual's risk tolerance, time horizon, or overall financial picture to tailor a retirement plan. A third incorrect approach would be to endorse or promote specific financial institutions or advisors without a clear disclaimer that this is not a recommendation and that employees should conduct their own due diligence. Even with a disclaimer, actively steering employees towards particular providers can be perceived as an endorsement and may create liability if those providers are not reputable or if the employee suffers financial losses. The CCWS role is to provide neutral, educational information. A professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a clear understanding of the CCWS scope of practice and the regulatory boundaries of financial advice. When faced with a request that might venture into regulated territory, the CCWS should 1. Identify the nature of the request. Is it educational or advisory? 2. If advisory, clearly state that they are not licensed to provide such advice. 3. Offer to provide general educational resources or direct the employee to appropriate licensed professionals. 4. Always prioritize compliance with relevant regulations and ethical guidelines over perceived helpfulness that could lead to regulatory violations. Question 15. Risk assessment procedures indicate that employees are seeking practical guidance on improving their daily food choices to support overall well-being. As a certified corporate wellness specialist operating under U.S. regulatory frameworks, which approach best aligns with the dietary guidelines for Americans and my plate to address this need. Option A. Focus exclusively on reducing overall calorie intake for all employees, without specific guidance on food quality or nutritional balance. Option B. Educate employees on the core principles of the dietary guidelines for Americans, emphasizing the importance of incorporating a variety of nutrient-dense foods from all food groups as depicted in my plate, and encouraging the development of personalized healthy eating patterns. Option C. Promote a popular but scientifically unverified detox diet that claims to rapidly improve energy levels and eliminate toxins. Option D. Provide employees with a generic 1,500 calorie meal plan that can be followed daily, regardless of individual activity levels or dietary preferences. The correct answer is B. Educate employees on the core principles of the dietary guidelines for Americans, emphasizing the importance of incorporating a variety of nutrient-dense foods from all food groups as depicted in my plate, and encouraging the development of personalized healthy eating patterns. Explanation. This scenario is professionally challenging because a corporate wellness specialist must navigate the complex landscape of providing accurate and actionable dietary advice within the confines of U.S. federal regulations and guidelines. The challenge lies in translating broad national recommendations into practical, individualized guidance for employees, ensuring compliance and promoting genuine well-being without overstepping professional boundaries or making unsubstantiated claims. Careful judgment is required to balance general dietary principles with the specific needs and potential health conditions of individuals, all while adhering to the dietary guidelines for Americans. The correct approach involves leveraging the established framework of the dietary guidelines for Americans and my plate to educate employees on building healthy eating patterns. This approach is right because it directly aligns with the foundational principles and recommendations set forth by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, and the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS. These guidelines are evidence-based and designed to promote health and prevent chronic diseases. By focusing on these established resources, the specialist ensures that the information provided is scientifically sound, culturally sensitive, and legally defensible. This method empowers employees with knowledge to make informed choices, fostering a sustainable approach to healthy eating rather than promoting restrictive or fad diets. An incorrect approach that focuses on promoting a specific, unproven superfood diet fails because it deviates from the evidence-based recommendations of the dietary guidelines for Americans. This can lead to misinformation, potentially harmful dietary practices, and a lack of credibility for the wellness program. It also risks making unsubstantiated health claims, which can have legal and ethical repercussions. Another incorrect approach that involves recommending specific portion sizes and meal plans without considering individual caloric needs, activity levels, or pre-existing health conditions is problematic. While the dietary guidelines for Americans provide general recommendations, personalized dietary advice typically requires a registered dietitian or healthcare professional. A corporate wellness specialist should focus on education and general principles, not prescriptive meal planning that could be inappropriate or even detrimental to an individual's health. This approach can lead to liability issues and undermine the trust in the wellness program. Finally, an approach that solely emphasizes calorie restriction without addressing the nutritional quality of food is also flawed. The dietary guidelines for Americans stress the importance of nutrient-dense foods and balanced eating patterns, not just reducing calorie intake. Focusing only on calorie restriction can lead to deficiencies in essential vitamins and minerals, negatively impacting employee health and productivity, and failing to meet the holistic goals of a corporate wellness program. Professionals should use a decision-making framework that prioritizes evidence-based resources, adheres to regulatory guidelines, and focuses on education and empowerment. This involves understanding the scope of practice for a corporate wellness specialist, which is to provide general health education and promote healthy lifestyle choices based on established national guidelines. When individual dietary needs become complex, the professional should refer employees to qualified healthcare providers, such as registered dietitians. Question 16. Consider a scenario where a certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, is tasked with enhancing mental health support within a large U.S.-based technology company. The company has a diverse workforce, and there's a noticeable underutilization of existing mental health benefits. The CCWS wants to proactively promote mental health awareness, reduce the stigma associated with seeking help, and ensure employees know how to access appropriate support. What is the most appropriate strategy for the CCWS to implement? Option A. Implement a mandatory company-wide mental health screening questionnaire that requires employees to disclose detailed personal mental health history, with the results being shared with their direct supervisors. Option B. Develop and deliver a series of workshops on stress management and resilience, incorporating information about the company's Employee Assistance Program, EAP, and other confidential mental health resources, while also training managers on recognizing signs of distress and appropriate referral protocols. Option C. Directly offer individual counseling sessions to employees who express concerns about their mental well-being, leveraging general knowledge of mental health topics. Option D. Create a company-wide challenge where employees are encouraged to publicly share their personal experiences with mental health struggles to foster a sense of community and openness. The correct answer is B. Develop and deliver a series of workshops on stress management and resilience, incorporating information about the company's Employee Assistance Program, EAP, and other confidential mental health resources, while also training managers on recognizing signs of distress and appropriate referral protocols. Explanation. This scenario presents a professional challenge because it requires a certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, to navigate the sensitive and complex landscape of mental health within a corporate environment. The challenge lies in balancing the need to promote awareness and provide support with the imperative to respect employee privacy, avoid misdiagnosis, and ensure that interventions are appropriate and ethically sound, all within the framework of relevant U.S. regulations and professional guidelines. Careful judgment is required to avoid overstepping boundaries, creating a hostile environment, or providing unqualified advice. The correct approach involves a multifaceted strategy that prioritizes education, destigmatization, and the facilitation of access to professional resources. This approach is correct because it aligns with the CCWS role as a facilitator and educator, not a clinician. By focusing on raising general awareness about mental health, sharing information about available company-provided resources, like Employee Assistance Programs (EAPs), and training managers to recognize signs of distress and refer employees appropriately, the CCWS acts within their scope of practice. This adheres to ethical principles of non-maleficence, avoiding harm and beneficence, acting in the best interest of employees, by empowering individuals to seek help, and by creating a more supportive workplace culture. Furthermore, it respects privacy by not attempting to diagnose or counsel individuals directly, which would require clinical licensure and could violate privacy laws such as HIPAA if not handled with extreme care and consent. An incorrect approach that involves the CCWS directly offering individual counseling or attempting to diagnose employees is professionally unacceptable. This fails to recognize the CCWS scope of practice and the legal and ethical requirements for providing mental health treatment. Such actions could lead to unqualified advice, potential harm to employees, and significant legal liability for both the individual CCWS and the employer, potentially violating regulations related to unlicensed practice of psychology or counseling. Another incorrect approach, such as solely relying on a single, generic mental health awareness poster without any accompanying support or resources, is insufficient. While it might touch upon awareness, it fails to provide actionable support or address the stigma effectively. This approach neglects the responsibility to offer tangible pathways to help and can create a false sense of having addressed the issue without providing meaningful assistance, potentially leading to employees feeling unsupported when they are in distress. A further incorrect approach, such as encouraging employees to share personal mental health struggles in open forums to break the ice, is ethically problematic and potentially harmful. While intended to reduce stigma, it can inadvertently pressure individuals to disclose sensitive personal information, violating their privacy and potentially leading to social repercussions or discrimination. This approach disregards the importance of confidentiality and the individual's right to control their personal health information. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a clear understanding of the CCWS defined role and limitations, a thorough knowledge of available company resources and external support systems, and a commitment to ethical practice. Professionals should always prioritize employee well-being while respecting privacy and legal boundaries. This involves consulting with HR and legal counsel when unsure, focusing on education and resource dissemination, and empowering individuals to seek appropriate professional help rather than attempting to provide it themselves. Question 17. Governance review demonstrates that the current corporate wellness program, while broadly advertised, has shown declining engagement metrics across several key demographic groups. The review highlights a need to reevaluate program design to ensure it effectively addresses the diverse health and well-being needs of the entire employee population. Considering the principles of process optimization for program design, which of the following approaches would best ensure a comprehensive and tailored wellness offering? Option A. Reduce the number of program components to focus resources on a few high-visibility, low-cost initiatives that can be easily managed and measured for immediate impact. Option B. Conduct a comprehensive employee needs assessment utilizing surveys, focus groups, and anonymized health data to identify specific wellness priorities and barriers across different employee segments, and then design program components e.g. health education, physical activity, stress management, nutrition, financial wellness, that directly address these identified needs, offering a variety of delivery methods and engagement levels. Option C. Implement a standardized, off-the-shelf wellness platform provided by a third-party vendor that offers a wide array of general wellness resources, without conducting specific employee needs analysis for the organization. Option D. Expand the existing popular physical activity challenges to include more participants, assuming that increased participation in one area will naturally lead to broader engagement with other wellness topics. The correct answer is B. Conduct a comprehensive employee needs assessment utilizing surveys, focus groups, and anonymized health data to identify specific wellness priorities and barriers across different employee segments, and then design program components e.g. health education, physical activity, stress management, nutrition, financial wellness, that directly address these identified needs, offering a variety of delivery methods and engagement levels. Explanation. This scenario presents a common challenge in corporate wellness, balancing broad appeal with the specific needs of a diverse workforce. The professional challenge lies in designing a program that is both comprehensive and impactful, avoiding a one-size-fits-all approach that may alienate or fail to engage significant employee segments. Careful judgment is required to ensure the program is inclusive, evidence-based, and aligned with organizational goals and employee well-being, all while adhering to relevant regulations and ethical considerations for employee health data and program delivery. The correct approach involves a systematic needs assessment to identify distinct employee groups and their unique wellness priorities. This allows for the tailoring of program components, ensuring that health education, physical activity, stress management, nutrition, and financial wellness initiatives are relevant and accessible to all. This approach is ethically sound as it respects individual differences and promotes equitable access to wellness resources. From a regulatory perspective, by focusing on employee-identified needs and offering a variety of options, it minimizes the risk of discrimination claims and ensures compliance with general principles of fairness and non-discrimination in employee benefits and programs. It also aligns with best practices for program design that emphasize engagement and sustainability. An incorrect approach that focuses solely on the most popular or easily implemented components, such as general fitness challenges, fails to address the multifaceted nature of employee well-being. This can lead to disengagement from employees with different needs, such as those seeking stress management resources or financial literacy support. Ethically, it is a failure of duty to provide a truly comprehensive and supportive environment. Another incorrect approach that relies on external vendor-provided, generic content without internal validation or tailoring ignores the specific cultural and demographic nuances of the workforce. This can result in programs that are culturally insensitive, irrelevant, or fail to resonate with employees, leading to low participation and perceived value. This approach risks not only ineffectiveness, but also potential ethical breaches if the generic content inadvertently promotes unhealthy or inappropriate advice for the specific employee population. A third incorrect approach that prioritizes cost savings over program effectiveness by offering only a limited number of low-cost, low-engagement activities overlooks the fundamental purpose of a wellness program: to improve employee health and productivity. This can lead to a program that is perceived as a token effort, failing to deliver tangible benefits and potentially creating cynicism among employees. This approach is ethically questionable, as it prioritizes financial expediency over the well-being of the workforce. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should begin with a thorough understanding of the organization's strategic objectives for wellness. This should be followed by a robust needs assessment that utilizes surveys, focus groups, and data analysis to understand employee demographics, health status, and wellness interests. Based on this assessment, a multi-component program should be designed, offering a range of options that cater to diverse needs and preferences. Continuous evaluation and feedback mechanisms are crucial to ensure the program remains relevant, effective, and compliant with all applicable regulations and ethical standards. Question 18. System analysis indicates that a certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, is tasked with developing a new employee wellness program. A critical component of this program involves setting individual employee goals related to health and well-being. The CCWS needs to determine the most effective and compliant method for establishing these goals to maximize program engagement and impact. Which of the following approaches best aligns with best practices for goal setting in a corporate wellness context? Option A. Facilitate a process where employees collaboratively define their own SMART wellness goals, with subsequent review to ensure alignment with broader organizational health objectives. Option B. Mandate that all employees adopt a standardized set of organizational wellness goals that are directly tied to key performance indicators for the company. Option C. Provide employees with a list of pre-approved wellness activities and require them to select goals from this list without further customization. Option D. Allow employees to set any personal wellness goals they wish, without any structured guidance or review process, to ensure maximum individual freedom. The correct answer is A. Facilitate a process where employees collaboratively define their own SMART wellness goals, with subsequent review to ensure alignment with broader organizational health objectives. Explanation. Scenario analysis. This scenario presents a common challenge in corporate wellness program implementation, ensuring that employee-generated goals are not only motivating, but also contribute meaningfully to the organization's strategic objectives. The professional challenge lies in balancing individual autonomy and engagement with the need for program effectiveness and alignment with business imperatives. A certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, must navigate this by fostering a collaborative goal-setting process that respects individual aspirations while ensuring they serve a broader organizational purpose, all within the ethical and regulatory landscape governing employee well-being programs. Correct approach analysis. The correct approach involves a structured, collaborative process where the CCWS facilitates employee involvement in defining SMART goals that are then reviewed for alignment with organizational objectives. This approach is correct because it directly addresses the core principles of effective goal setting in a corporate context. By involving employees, it enhances buy-in, motivation, and ownership, making the wellness program more likely to succeed. The SMART framework ensures goals are actionable and trackable. Crucially, the review for alignment with organizational objectives ensures that individual efforts contribute to the company's broader health and productivity strategies, maximizing the return on investment for the wellness program. This aligns with the ethical responsibility of a CCWS to design and implement programs that are both beneficial to employees and supportive of the organization's mission, without overstepping into areas that could be perceived as coercive or overly prescriptive, which could have implications under general employment law and data privacy regulations concerning employee performance and health information. Incorrect approaches analysis. One incorrect approach is to solely rely on predefined organizational wellness goals without employee input. This fails to leverage individual motivation and can lead to disengagement, as employees may not see personal relevance in the goals. It also risks setting goals that are not practical or achievable for individual employees, potentially leading to frustration and program abandonment. Ethically, it can be seen as a top-down mandate rather than a supportive initiative. Another incorrect approach is to allow employees to set completely unconstrained goals without any review or alignment process. While this maximizes individual freedom, it can lead to goals that are irrelevant to the organization's objectives, making the wellness program appear disconnected from business strategy and potentially ineffective in driving overall organizational health improvements. This could also lead to a misallocation of resources if the program's impact cannot be demonstrated. A third incorrect approach is to impose organizational goals directly onto employees without any opportunity for discussion or adaptation. This can feel prescriptive and demotivating, undermining the voluntary nature of many wellness initiatives. It fails to acknowledge individual circumstances and can create a perception of a lack of trust in employees' ability to set appropriate goals for themselves. Professional reasoning. A CCWS should approach goal setting by first understanding the organization's strategic objectives related to employee well-being, such as reducing absenteeism, improving productivity, or enhancing employee morale. Then, they should design a process that educates employees on the principles of SMART goal setting and provides tools and support for them to develop their own wellness goals. This process should include a mechanism for employees to share their goals in a way that respects privacy, and for the CCWS to provide feedback, helping employees refine their goals to be both personally meaningful and organizationally relevant. This collaborative, iterative approach ensures that the wellness program is a partnership between the individual and the organization, fostering a culture of health and well-being that benefits everyone. Question 19. The risk matrix shows a moderate likelihood of decreased employee productivity and increased absenteeism due to stress-related issues. As a certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, operating within the United States, which of the following approaches best aligns with the comprehensive definition of wellness and the evolution of workplace well-being programs? Option A. Implement a company-wide fitness challenge with prizes for participation and completion, focusing on physical activity as the primary driver of stress reduction. Option B. Develop a multifaceted wellness program that includes resources for mental health support, financial literacy workshops, and opportunities for social connection, alongside physical activity options. Option C. Offer subsidized gym memberships and ergonomic assessments for all employees, assuming that physical comfort and access to exercise are the primary determinants of overall well-being. Option D. Introduce a series of motivational seminars focused on positive thinking and resilience, without addressing the underlying environmental or occupational stressors that may be contributing to employee stress. Correct answer is A. Implement a company-wide fitness challenge with prizes for participation and completion, focusing on physical activity as the primary driver of stress reduction. Explanation: this scenario is professionally challenging because it requires the Certified Corporate Wellness Specialist, CCWS, to navigate the multifaceted nature of employee well-being within a specific organizational context, balancing diverse needs and potential limitations. The CCWS must apply a holistic understanding of wellness, recognizing that interventions in one dimension can impact others, and that a one-size-fits-all approach is insufficient. Careful judgment is required to ensure that proposed initiatives are not only comprehensive, but also culturally appropriate, ethically sound, and aligned with the organization's strategic goals and resources, all while adhering to the specific regulatory framework governing corporate wellness in the United States. The correct approach involves developing a comprehensive wellness program that addresses multiple dimensions of wellness, including physical, emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual, environmental, occupational, and financial. This approach is justified by the CCWS ethical obligation to promote the overall well-being of employees, as outlined by professional standards and implied by the broad scope of the CCWS certification. Furthermore, a holistic model acknowledges that employee health and productivity are influenced by a complex interplay of factors, and a multidimensional program is more likely to yield sustainable positive outcomes. This aligns with the evolution of wellness in the workplace, moving beyond purely physical health to encompass a broader spectrum of employee needs. An incorrect approach that focuses solely on physical fitness programs fails because it neglects other critical dimensions of wellness, such as emotional or financial well-being, which can significantly impact an employee's overall health and productivity. This narrow focus is ethically insufficient, as it does not fully address the diverse needs of the workforce and may lead to an incomplete or ineffective wellness strategy. An incorrect approach that prioritizes only the most visible or easily measurable dimensions of wellness, such as participation rates in gym discounts, without considering the underlying impact on emotional or occupational well-being, is also professionally unacceptable. This approach risks superficial engagement and fails to address the root causes of potential well-being deficits. It overlooks the interconnectedness of wellness dimensions and the potential for unintended negative consequences. An incorrect approach that proposes initiatives without considering the financial or occupational implications for employees or the organization demonstrates a lack of comprehensive understanding and ethical consideration. For instance, suggesting demanding physical challenges without assessing employees' physical readiness or potential for injury, or proposing financial wellness seminars without understanding the company's compensation structure, can be detrimental. This approach fails to integrate the financial and occupational dimensions of wellness effectively. The professional decision-making process for similar situations should involve a thorough needs assessment that considers all dimensions of wellness. This includes gathering data on employee demographics, current health status, perceived stressors, and organizational culture. The CCWS should then leverage a holistic wellness model to design a program that is integrated, evidence-based, and tailored to the specific organizational context. Continuous evaluation and adaptation are crucial to ensure the program remains relevant and effective. Ethical considerations, including employee privacy, voluntary participation, and equitable access to resources, must be paramount throughout the program's lifecycle. Adherence to relevant U.S. regulations, such as those pertaining to employee benefits and data privacy, e.g., HIPAA implications for health information, must be ensured. Question 20. Process analysis reveals that a corporate wellness program participant, who is generally healthy, inquires about the best way to improve their cardiovascular endurance for an upcoming charity run. They mention feeling a slight shortness of breath during their current training. Simultaneously, another participant, who has a known history of osteoarthritis, asks for specific exercises to alleviate their knee pain during their daily walks. As a certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, which of the following represents the most appropriate and ethically compliant course of action? Option A. Advise the first participant to push through the shortness of breath as it indicates their body is adapting, and suggest that the second participant try over-the-counter pain relievers before their walks. Option B. Offer to create a personalized exercise prescription for both participants based on their stated goals and symptoms, including specific heart rate zones for the first and targeted strengthening exercises for the second. Option C. Provide general educational materials on the physiological adaptations of the cardiovascular system to aerobic exercise, emphasizing the importance of gradual progression and listening to one's body, and strongly advise the participant with knee pain to consult their physician or a physical therapist for personalized assessment and treatment recommendations. Option D. Recommend interval training protocols for the first participant to quickly improve their cardiovascular capacity, and suggest specific low-impact exercises and stretching routines for the second participant to manage their knee pain. The correct answer is C. Provide general educational materials on the physiological adaptations of the cardiovascular system to aerobic exercise, emphasizing the importance of gradual progression and listening to one's body, and strongly advise the participant with knee pain to consult their physician or a physical therapist for personalized assessment and treatment recommendations. Explanation. Scenario analysis. This scenario presents a professional challenge for a certified corporate wellness specialist, CCWS, by requiring them to differentiate between appropriate and inappropriate advice regarding exercise physiology principles within a corporate wellness program. The CCWS must navigate the ethical imperative to provide accurate, evidence-based guidance while avoiding the unauthorized practice of medicine or providing personalized medical advice. The challenge lies in balancing the promotion of general wellness with the recognition of individual health limitations and the need for professional medical consultation. Correct approach analysis. The correct approach involves educating employees on the general principles of exercise physiology, such as the benefits of cardiovascular exercise for improving aerobic capacity, and the role of resistance training in building musculoskeletal strength. This approach is ethically sound and professionally appropriate because it focuses on providing general health information and promoting healthy lifestyle choices, which is within the scope of practice for a CCWS. It empowers employees with knowledge without diagnosing, treating, or prescribing specific exercise regimens for individual medical conditions. This aligns with the CCWS role as an educator and facilitator of wellness, not a medical practitioner. Regulatory frameworks for wellness professionals typically emphasize education and general guidance, distinguishing it from medical advice. Incorrect approach is analysis. An incorrect approach would be to recommend specific exercise intensities or durations for an employee experiencing chest pain during exercise, or to suggest particular stretches for an employee reporting chronic joint pain. These actions cross the line into providing personalized medical advice and potentially diagnosing or treating a condition, which is outside the CCWS scope of practice and could have serious health consequences for the employee. Such advice could be construed as the unauthorized practice of medicine, violating ethical guidelines and potentially legal statutes that protect individuals from unqualified medical advice. Furthermore, it bypasses the crucial step of recommending consultation with a qualified healthcare professional who is equipped to assess individual health status and provide appropriate medical guidance. Professional reasoning. Professionals in corporate wellness should adopt a decision-making framework that prioritizes employee safety and adheres strictly to their defined scope of practice. This involves 1. Understanding the CCWS role as an educator and promoter of general wellness. 2. Recognizing the boundaries between general health information and personalized medical advice. 3. Always recommending consultation with qualified healthcare providers for any individual health concerns, symptoms, or pre-existing conditions. 4. Staying current with evidence-based practices in exercise physiology while applying them in a general, educational context. 5. Documenting all interactions and advice provided, ensuring it remains within the scope of wellness coaching and education.